Hi, I am Usman. Welcome to YouTube channel UKR786. Today I am going to talk about how to earn online from podcast. This video is part 3 explaining about how to earn from podcast. Topic covered in this video is different ways to earn from podcast. Now I will explain different way to earn from podcast. Now after a number of podcast and becoming a good podcaster, you will have a lot of followers. Now you can think of earning from podcast. Following are the methods. Request for donations. Sell your podcast. Sponsorship or ads. Become member of advertising network. Selling podcast premium episodes. Earn from old podcast. Syndication of podcast on YouTube. Request for donations. You ask your follower for donations so that you keep doing creative work. It is not begging because you are telling your followers that time is spent and hard work is done to produce podcast. If they want that this work should continue, so they should donate a little amount. Your follower can donate $1 or $2 so that they are able to listen informative podcast. You can share your Stripe or PayPal details with your followers. Another platform is GoFundMe, which enables your audience to provide donations in small amount to help continue your work. There should be transparency in collecting donations. You should thank your follower and if possible mention their name, so that they know your work them is going on because of them. Sell your podcast. Some of the content on YouTube and podcast is free and rest of the content is available for those who buy membership. Patreon gives your membership system where you can divide your listener into groups depending on the amount they pay. It is easy to use and make podcaster financially strong. When you are new, so use default system, and when you know your followers, then you can use tier system. To divide them according to their need and status. For experiment, try different options in start. Many podcaster on Patreon give small gifts or access to special content. This is a good strategy so that your followers will spend money on your podcast. Sponsorship or ads. You need to decide certain rate with sponsor advertiser which does not affect the quality of your podcast. Podcaster with lot of listener earn a lot. The more the listener, the expensive the ad. In Pakistan, there are very less podcasters, so their income is low. Some podcast sponsorship platform are Midroll, Advertise, Results Media, Advertise, Cast, Adopt Media, and True Native Media. Become member of advertising network. Many advertising networks like Midroll, Advertiser get podcasters ads. They provide podcasters with ads and deduct their commission. Every network has its own rules and rates. You should study their agreement before signing it. Selling podcast premium episodes. When your followers are addicted to your podcast, so make podcast with high quality and put some money to make people pay for listening to them. Invite any guest they want to listen. To make episodes of podcast monetized, follow these steps. Special question answer session with your guest. Give free access to some episode. Make some ad-free episode. Live streaming of podcast. The Daily Wire made subscription of $10 to see podcast in video form. In free version they only listen to podcast audio. You should make premium podcast with free podcast. Like you have talked about 30 minutes with your guest in free podcast and 10 minutes in premium podcast. Premium podcastus will cost your audience. Oh, you have to test your creative skill while making premium content. There should be a balance between free and premium content. The free version of podcast should be interesting and questions should be answered in paid part, so listener have to pay for that part. Earn from old podcast. When you have a lot of podcast, so you lock your old content, so that your listeners spent money to listen to them in form of subscription or pay for specific podcast. Best approach is make categories of old content so that it is easy for listeners to find podcast according to their interest. Syndication of podcast on YouTube. You have good audio or video content that you can share with a lot of people, so you give your content to a company on license. The company will provide that content to media houses or advertise the content by itself will pay according to decided percentage. This is called syndication. Podcaster make podcast and then join their channel to YouTube through syndication. You can add one picture with your audio podcast or make a video to share on YouTube. Million of viewers will watch your video on YouTube. Your podcast should unique and interesting so you earn through syndication. You have to select monetization in YouTube settings so Google will manage your ads and promotion. I hope that you liked the video. Please do comments if you like the video or you want to know something I did not include in the video. Please like the video and subscribe the channel.